Well, thank you very much. It's an honor.
After first meeting privately with Ukraine's leader in the Oval Office, President Trump then hosted a multilateral session that included the leaders of NATO, the EU Commission, the Prime Ministers of Italy and the UK, the German Chancellor and the Presidents of France and Finland. And although not in the mix, Russia's President Vladimir Putin very much a part of the conversation here.
The Alaska summit reinforced my belief that while difficult, peace is within reach, and I believe that in a very significant step, President Putin agreed that Russia would accept security guarantees for Ukraine, and this is one of the key points that we need to consider, and we're going to be considering that at the table also, like who will do what, essentially. I'm optimistic that collectively we can reach an agreement that would deter any future aggression against Ukraine, and I actually think there won't be. I think that's even overrated, largely overrated, but we're going to find out. And I think that the European nations are going to take a lot of the burden. We're going to help them, and we're going to make it very secure. We also need to discuss the possible exchanges of territory, taking into consideration the current line of contact.
Trump signaling some optimism on the prospects of a future trilateral meeting between Presidents Putin, Zelenskyy and himself in the near future.
I have a feeling you and President Putin are going to work something out. Ultimately, this is a decision that can only be made by President Zelenskyy and by the people of Ukraine working also together in agreement with President Putin. And I just think that's very good things are going to come of it. So I hope we have a good meeting. And if we can have a good meeting, I'll set up a meeting with President Putin.
Thank you so much. I think that
President Zelenskyy mentioned several key areas he was focused on. In the main, security guarantees, prisoner exchanges, the return of thousands of Ukrainian children taken by Russia, and the question of possible territorial concessions.
what is very important that all the sensitive things, territorial, etc., we will discuss on the level of leaders during trilateral meeting, and President Trump will try to organize such meeting, and he said that he will come or not come. Ukraine will be happy if you
both
participate.
Want me there, I will be there.
Yeah, thank you. And I think this is very important. Yes, so security guarantees, bringing kids back, and all our people, not only warriors, first of all warriors, and all the civilians, journalists, a lot of people in prison. So we need them back.
While the European leaders praised President Trump's effort to open up a possible pathway to peace after his meeting with President Putin in Alaska, some push back at the lack of an immediate ceasefire first.
The next steps ahead are the more complicated ones now. The path is open. You opened it last Friday. But now the way is open for complicated negotiations. And to be honest, we all would like to see a ceasefire, the latest from the next meeting on. I can't imagine that the next meeting would take place without a ceasefire. So let's work on that, and let's try to put pressure on Russia, because the credibility of these efforts we are undertaking today are depending on at least a ceasefire from the beginning of the serious negotiations from next step on.
A view echoed by France.
This is why the idea of a trilateral meeting is very important, because this is the only way to fix it. And by the way, I think as a follow-up, we would need probably a quadrilateral meeting, because when we speak about security guarantees, we speak about the whole security of the European continent. And this is why we are all united here with Ukraine on this matter. In order to organize such a trilateral meeting, your idea to ask for a truce or a ceasefire, at least to stop the killings, as we discussed, is a necessity. And we all support this idea. And in order to have such a long-standing peace for Ukraine and for the whole continent, we do need the security guarantees.
President Trump signaling that while he would prefer an immediate ceasefire, he did not view it as critical to forging a long-term peace deal, as this complicated peace process grinds on, much like the war itself, with a trilateral meeting that includes President Putin mooted for the near future. Sherwin Bryce-Pease, SABC News, New York.